On this episode of Overarching,
People should be orange pilled who want to stay alive.
we've lied to you.
Wah, wah, wah.
But I want to make a claim here.
And let's roll the tape. We're stupid. We're not professionals. We're stupid.
And if you hit that like and subscribe button now, you don't have to pay that 1% city tax.
Do not take any financial advice from podcasters. This is Overarching. I'm Colin.
I'm David.
I'm Bradley.
And this is Overarching.
And this is Narrow Gauge
Yeah.
Brewing Company.
Hell is gamed.
I'm not going to lie. Probably my favorite brewery in St. Louis.
You know, honestly, I was having a conversation with someone. They were like, "Can I get a beer?" And I was like, "Yeah, beer." He's like, "Yeah, if it just says beer on the can, that's preferable." I do like how they have in big block letters just beer. Just so you know.
It's a good font choice.
Yeah.
The grains are Pilsner and Caramel Hell.
Bright.
That's the new section of Hershey Park.
Caramel Hell.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Except it's
Caramel, yeah.
hey.
Blah, 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 blah. Let's say the pledge.
Do it.
I pledge allegiance to Gregory FX Daly, the one to whom we owe it all, and to our taxes, which we prefer, to buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks, unless to get to the convenience store where you're going before the game to buy more affordable peanuts, Cracker Jacks, or perhaps even a savory snack. You have to cross an intersection so big that it's bigger than the baseball field at the stadium that you're sneaking those snacks into. And instead of baseballs flying at you, it's giant metal boxes going nearly as fast. So maybe let's fix that walkability nightmare before we take a snack break. 1% to the god of yellow envelopes ignored by all.
You know what I like?
Baseball?
I like the fact that we have one of the most accessible baseball stadiums by transit.
That's very true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And somebody on the YouTubes, on this platform that many of you are currently watching on, ranked St. Louis as 21st out of all 30 stadiums
What?
on public transit accessibility.
Why?
And I was like, bro, I don't think there's a light rail transit stop closer to the actual entrance of a baseball stadium in all of baseball.
Is it just the fact that the entire region suffers in
Yes,
accessibility?
and it's
like
also
the number of people who can get
He ranked
there
us so low
purely
because
on-
it was parking, just so much surface level parking around the stadium, which I agree with.
That is absolutely true.
Sucks.
Yeah.
That is truly, truly, truly bad.
Metro could run more frequently during the games too. That'd be great.
Yeah, they should run every 5 minutes during
Yeah.
the game, and
They run
only-
every 10.
Yeah,
but
still.
only 10. It's the same schedule as always. They run every 10
on each line.
on each line, and they interlace. So if you're from De Bolivar or East, it's fine. But if you're parking at Shrewsbury, if you're parking at North Hanley, it's every 20
Yeah.
minutes.
And the issue there is, I know some people that will go to that stop, take the train to 8th and Pine, get off at 8th and Pine, go to the other stop to get back on, and then so they don't have to wait in the big line on the other side.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
This
not anymore.
This guy's done that a couple times, I think.
Oh yeah, that's the secret sauce. But you're right. You're about to say that
8th and Pine is closed
temporarily
for 3 months because they need to replace the stairs. Which, you know what? I've been recently getting off of that stop a lot.
It
Good.
needs it.
It absolutely needs it.
Yeah, I
I've
was just
never
there the
been
other
more
day.
scared of stairs that don't have any like underside to them. Like it's
Yeah.
just big stone all the way down. Caving in. Like I've
Yeah.
never been more scared that that's going to happen. They are so
Closing things
rickety.
for infrastructure projects, good.
we like.
Yes.
Let's do. I have a comment section readers theater for us.
Okay.
Oh, my
get-
name's on here.
Let's find
Don't
out.
get used to it. 2 episodes in a row. I don't know if I can sustain
name's
this
on
level
here.
of output.
Yeah.
Comment section readers theater for the uninitiated.
Uninitiated.
Comment section readers theater for the uninitiated is my way of therapizing doom scrolling.
Yeah.
Where
There's not many ways to do that.
I think I'm in a unique position to do so because the only
It's
thing
market research.
right, absolutely. The only thing I know is theater, and this is my way
The
of doing
healing
it.
power of the arts, everybody. All these comments are lifted verbatim, spelling errors included. But
Verbatim. I barely know him.
There you go.
but
equal opportunity.
reordered for theatrical effect.
Let's get into it.
Yes. So let's set the scene. Interior. KSDK News Facebook comment section.
Headline: Downtown St. Louis activity picks up, study says.
By activity, you mean crime.
Downtown criminal activity picks up. There, fixed it for you.
I guess if you're counting homelessness and crime.
More like picks up more crime.
I just came here for all the crime comments for people who live an hours or more away from the city.
Criminals are running amok.
Yeah, dodging bullets.
I always carry anytime I go up there.
Yeah, this and Tashara's crime statistics that everyone who knows anything knows are a complete lie.
The reports of street racing, people being run over and losing legs, stolen cars. The city is a cesspool, and TJ is to blame.
So defunding the police was a great idea, right, TJ?
It's never been defunded.
Not the point.
All these cities getting new skyscrapers and STL just sitting there decaying. I would love to see something major downtown as well, like Versace or Gucci, but you know.
High-end stores like Versace or Gucci would be gang looted as soon as they open their doors.
Downtown just got a new skyscraper with more planned.
Are you talking about out that one Cardinals building by Busch Stadium?
Yes.
They should open one in Clayton.
The reports of street racing, people being run over and losing legs, stolen cars. The city is a cesspool, and TJ is to blame.
Of course it is. It's baseball season, but they need to get the crime under control if they want people to keep coming for the games.
Crime has never stopped Cardinals fans.
The reports of street racing, people being run over, losing legs.
Many people in St. Charles County don't go to games anymore because they don't feel safe going into the city.
And yet many more continue to go without fear.
Actually, many less.
Actually, many more.
The city is a cesspool, and TJ is to blame.
A lot of people I know now stay home and watch them on TV. They're still fans.
Enjoy watching the Cardinals on TV eating Applebee's.
The only reason less people are going to Cardinals games is because of the team's on-field performance.
St. Louis just had its lowest crime in 10 years.
I wish you are right, but that's not true.
It is true.
You're blind to truth.
Baseball!
And scene.
I love how that's a comment.
That's good. That's good.
Just by itself. The guy.
No period, no exclamation point.
Just baseball.
Baseball.
All right. So on today's episode, we're talking about baseball, but not in the way that you might think.
Because it's something brand new that we invented because we're smart boys.
Have you ever heard of throwing a baseball across the street?
Smart boys.
Times that by like 10. Times that by like throwing your arm out and needing Tommy John surgery.
So in an act of,
By the way, did I tell you that? A doctor definitely has told me that I need it.
like after,
They're
David-
like, if you played baseball, they're like, if you played baseball, you should get it.
if your loved one has been affected by baseball.
Is this, David, is this you making excuses for the video clip that's about to be shown?
No.
Let's set this up.
Before we roll that clip of David biffing it.
Yeah. Hey, whoa. One time, I biffed, many.
You biffed all of them.
So many, except the one time we were at the field.
And David, it's okay.
No.
It's okay because
I'm a 32-year-old real estate agent. I'm not a baseball player. I understand this.
in an act of, and in an attempt to blow the VFX budget, in an act of radical urbanism, we've developed this thing that we like to call the baseball test, which at its heart is a human-centered, human-scaled way to show just how big intersections can be, and in reality, it's us hucking a baseball across intersections.
In an act of guerrilla urbanism.
So what is the...
we absolutely before we get into this, don't do this.
Yeah.
We're stupid. We're not professionals. We're stupid.
Speak for yourself. I'm unprofessional.
The baseball test is simple. There's one rule. 2 able-bodied people should be able to play a reasonable game of catch from corner to corner across an intersection. Again, don't do this, but in theory, they should be able to do it. And that proves that the intersection is at a human scale. It is just fine. And we're going to get into some really big intersections today. We're going to do a top 5 biggest intersections in St. Louis. And Jefferson and Gravois, spoiler alert, doesn't even make the top
Not
5.
even on the list.
So let's roll that tape, boys. Let's show us doing.
I want to make a claim here.
And let's roll the tape.
All right, here we go.
Is he running down the street?
And to prove that I can do it, because I don't want my dad seeing that I've wasted away, and I can't make that throw. Here's a video of me actually proving that I can make that throw, Dad.
Yeah, so Jefferson, Sidney, Gravois clearly does not pass the baseball test.
It does not, and we have a top 5 biggest intersections that we're going to be doing here in a second. And here's the crazy part: that intersection doesn't even crack the top 5 biggest intersections in the city of St. Louis.
No.
I don't even think it cracks the top 10.
It's not close.
So we're gonna get into this list then.
Can I make a statement to you guys real quick that maybe says more about me than like things that I need in life? There is not much that's made me happier in the past like few months than actually making that throw to you on the fly. The pure like elation of going back and watching that video. I think I have a problem.
It's clear.
So if you see Lemon on the street, don't go up to him and say, "Hey, look, there's a David Lemon." Say, "Hey, man,
nice arm." No. Say, "Hey, man, nice arm." Yeah. Like it will go to my head faster than anything else in the world has.
Oh my God,
man.
Yeah, no, it's you've definitely shown, not told, in the way that you have definitely a confidence issue with your arm. So why is this a big deal? Like, intersections are big, so what? Cars are big.
Because I wanted to look cool.
So
no,
big intersections kill pedestrians.
Yeah,
and it's just universally true. Intersections kill pedestrians. Big intersections, especially really complicated, crazy ones like Jefferson, Sidney, and Gravois. But as we get into this list, you'll see there's some bigger ones kill pedestrians.
Right, and the reasons for that are like number of conflict points, which is what it sounds like, how many zones you have to cross as a pedestrian, just like how far you have to walk in the intersection. The complexities. I've said the complexities of that intersection in particular. I've walked, from Greenfinch to the Lee's Chicken and back. And when you're walking back from the Lee's Chicken, because it's a 6-way intersection, you got this huge spot to pass, and there are cars coming towards you turning right, that if they're going to start turning right because you're not that far in the intersection yet, but then the cars behind them turning right can't see that you're in the intersection. So you'll get hit every time. Yep. I've literally told multiple people who are like clients at Greenfinch, like, "Oh, I need to go run over to Dollar General or something. Hey, you're going to feel safer jaywalking across Jefferson than actually using the signalized intersection there."
Yep. That's absolutely the case. I think about that every time I cross Jefferson now. Like that, it is just.
And of course, one of the bigger reasons also in recent times, numbers are going up of pedestrian deaths because trucks are also getting bigger and cars in general are also getting bigger.
All the blind spots are worse.
People at intersections you can't see anymore. It's awful.
In 2009, there were 4,109 pedestrian fatalities in Missouri, and in 2022, there were 7,522, according to the National Highway Traffic and Safety Administration.
You would get better.
For real. It's
it would get
with all
better.
this technology that cars have. Yeah, no, it's
so maybe the cars are bad.
83%.
Maybe cars are bad.
Yeah. And the size of the intersection, bring it back to the size of the intersection thing too, is there's like study after study of just the design of a street tells drivers implicitly how fast they can go regardless of the actual posted speed limit. So the bigger a street is, the faster people are driving, the bigger street is, the bigger intersection is, ergo, etc.
Yeah,
etc.
and Jefferson Gravois is it's an intersection of 2 3-lane in each direction roads. So people are flying down it.
Ian just said that many off the lot pickup trucks have worse blind spots than literal tanks.
Oh my God.
So that's fun.
Yeah. It's a whole ass thing.
Thanks, Ford.
It's apparent that we've all been orange pilled, but also it's super duper important.
We think everybody should be orange pilled
to
an extent.
Make cities human
We
scale.
think people should be orange pilled that want to stay in America.
People should be orange pilled who want to stay alive.
Yeah,
that too.
Today we're going to do a top 5. It's not like a 3, 1, 4, 2, 5. If you're familiar, we usually do those. You can think of this as like an oops all 5.
Oops.
Which one? Some fives are more five than other fives.
Yeah. Thank you, John Green. The top 5 biggest intersections in St. Louis. We sat for a couple hours the other day and scoured the map and measured all these intersections
And
corner
there's
to corner.
nothing abnormal or weird about sitting around for hours looking at maps.
No.
There's truly nothing more fun than hanging out with your buddies looking at maps. I truly believe that.
We had a good ass time.
I truly believe that.
We got into it.
Yeah.
We think we did this really fairly. We argued, we fought, friendships were lost, lovers were found. But if you want to go do this on your own, go for it. Anyway, top five intersections.
Before we hit the exact list, just for like a frame of reference, because I think like some people may have interacted with these intersections, some people may not have interacted with them. So I think like let's set a baseline of understanding like what is a normal but big intersection. Like
An intersection that feels big when you look at it.
Yeah, and I'd say like for all of St. Louis, heart of downtown, right in front of or right next
City
to
Hall.
right next to City Hall, you got Market and Tucker, 2 big wide Broadways intersecting each other straight on. That's like you cross that like that's a nice little hike across those lanes.
Yeah.
Big
That's
stroads.
The 2 stroads, yeah.
Big old stroads.
If you're walking downtown for a Blues game, for a Cardinals game, for a City game, you've probably interacted with this intersection before.
You're like, wow, that's a big intersection.
You're so exposed.
That intersection is 148 feet corner to corner and has 2 conflict points. So this is how we're going to be measuring these intersections today, both by feet and amount of conflict points. There are some notable exclusions before we get to the list, because I'm sure some of you will be like, well, you left this off. There's a reason, and here's why. So first, we have 4 notable exclusions: Jefferson, South Broadway, and Chippewa. That's a crazy intersection everybody knows about. There's actually not a lot of conflict points, and there's a lot of bus access. And weirdly, for as weird of an intersection as it is, it's actually more well designed.
On like islands and stuff.
Yeah,
like
it's
that.
more. I don't want to call it well designed, but it's better designed than it could have been.
Yeah.
It's not just a hard like boom with 3 streets.
We're not saying it's well designed. We're saying it's better designed than the rest on this list.
And it was also sort of impossible to like determine where you're going to make that corner measurement from because of the way things kind of like slide into each other there.
Sure. The Lindell to Bolivar intersection, that's 253 feet, but there's only 1 conflict point because there's a pedestrian throughway on it. It's right in front of the History Museum. And hey, look, a big old pedestrian street solves a big issue. Amazing. One of the bigger ones that we fought about that ended up getting off this list, Loughborough, Jameson, and Clifton in what neighborhood? Lindenwood Park.
It's like Princeton Heights. No, it's Lindenwood Park.
Yeah,
you're
something
right.
like
You're
that.
right. You're right.
It's a whopping 329 feet.
No. That's St. Louis Hills.
Over there, west side of the city.
Hold on.
Southwest side of the city. It's a whopping 329 feet. Yeah. And it's huge, but we didn't feel like it was fair to measure it. And then the big one, the Death Circle, the Halls Ferry, Ferry
circle.
It's 338 feet across, 6 legal conflict points or 2 illegal conflict points, which sometimes we didn't really follow the law on these conflict points because you don't either.
Or there's just no actual place to cross.
We follow the logical point for people to cross.
Yeah, and it's like with the Halls Ferry Circle, you could just cross it in 2 conflict points because it is in fact a circle, and you have to get to that park somehow, right? But you'd be running and screaming across the street. But anyway, we left that off because it's in fact a roundabout. There are no roundabouts on this list.
Yeah.
So,
and within all that caveats too, like once again, this is just about like the largest intersections. I know everyone in St. Louis loves to talk about like the wildest, craziest, most terrible intersections. Some of those are on this list, but this list is not about that.
it's about the largeness corner to corner of these intersections, and number 1 might surprise you.
And for reference, the ball that I threw,
David, you don't have to keep defending yourself.
was 250 feet
Generously
at the field. Okay.
It's big of you
This
to
is just
agree
for
that it's
reference.
generous.
For reference.
Yeah. All right. Top 5 biggest intersections in St. Louis. Blow that VFX budget, baby. Intersections. Here we go. All right. At number 5, the 5th largest intersection in St. Louis by the official overarching measurement, Watson, Scanlon, and Tam. Watson, Scanlon, and Tam in the city. Yeah, this is an intersection with St. Louis Public Library on that corner. There's 2 bus stops on this corner. It is huge. It is a whopping 241 feet, corner to corner, with 2 conflict points.
And this will introduce some themes that we're going to see. A lot of these intersections are where you have 3 roads intersecting. And a lot of these intersections are where you have diagonal intersections because that ends up stretching the distance.
Right, and St. Louis certainly loves its diagonal intersections.
Yeah. This one could have been larger too.
It could have if we're
We
taking
tried to
away,
be fair.
If
Yeah.
we're taking away,
But it's if you look at it, like you'll notice there are these 2 kind of like triangular traffic islands that are kind of nothing, but they each have a bus stop on them. So we tried to like take these as much of like if you're on the ground walking, where is the beginning of where you can't avoid anything.
Right, and like a bus stop for me is like, is it a place
That's
where
where you
you
get
can
off.
be? Yeah,
Yeah.
and like a bus stop is basically like you're basically randomly popping into existence
Yeah.
on these traffic islands. So you have to negotiate how to get around.
if you were to take away those traffic islands, it would just be an obscene number. It would be 463 feet
But
take away those traffic islands.
also another like particularly heinous thing about this intersection is if you want to cross Watson Road legally, safely with like a signalized intersection, you either have to go all the way up to Arsenal or all the way down to Filer.
Yep.
Like you just can't cross Watson there without just, taking your life in your own hands.
Yep.
My favorite part about this is that the intersection of Tam and Watson at that southeast corner, it is built out to look like you can cross the street across Watson to the other side, to the southeast side of
Yeah,
Watson.
there's a carve out on the sidewalk as if you could just like, well, I guess it's for crossing Tam there, but it's
just
the
so
angle
funny.
of it looks inviting to like, push you out into Watson Road.
The craziest thing that you're probably not the craziest, one of the interesting things that you're going to see in these intersections is the way that they were built out before cars took over. And you can see the way that things were designed before the car became such a big thing. Now,
Not to push back on you, was this intersection this was way out in the country?
correct, but we're getting there.
Okay.
Yes, this happens to be in the like further west portions of the city limits. So this was more built out in like the 40s.
One of the things you'll see, a
Yeah.
lot of downtown intersections are not on this
Yes.
because there
were
wasn't
built
room.
quite
There's
early.
not room for them.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, the
biggest one downtown is Tucker.
something like that.
And Market. It's gotta be.
The solution for this one is pretty easy. Just some traffic bump outs. You got plenty of room to do it, and make it just a little more difficult to fly around these corners and thusly kill people.
Have fun.
Yeah, have fun out there, pedestrians. Number 4. This one gets special bonus points and is the second biggest, only 2 street intersection on this. The Chippewa and Lansdowne intersection, number 4. Chippewa and
you love
Lansdowne, 260 feet, 2 conflict points to get from corner to corner to corner.
This one's very, very familiar in many people's minds.
This is
Quite a hot intersection.
like near Ted Drew's, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
it's the intersection where all the chain everything is at, except Lion's Choice, which is a chain but a local chain. So we give it a pass.
Still a Strode, baby.
Give it a pass.
Yeah.
So the building there that's at the western corner, so in between Lansdowne and Chippewa, on the southwest corner, I guess you would just call it west corner of it all. They were trying to tear that down and build a friggin' car wash. Like, we need more car washes.
Car wash is a great
and that
passive
building-
income. Passive income. You don't need to do any work. Passive income. Car wash, easy cash business.
Yeah, they're like part of real estate
Laundromat.
investment trusts and all these terrible organizations. Anyways,
Yeah, no,
anyways, the building itself, to kind of get off subject a little bit, that building itself, many people don't think it's that beautiful. I think it's gorgeous, but I'm a sucker for that type of mid-century build, like office building. Anyways, it's so unique. You got the parking underneath and then everything above. I'm a sucker for those.
You shouldn't be here if you have COVID, David. Because obviously you have no taste.
You
suck. What a terrible
this intersection, if you've ever looked at it, been near it, you know how bad it is. Other dangerous things about it. Starbucks. Yeah, and the Starbucks.
Non-union Starbucks.
Yeah, I know. But it's
even worse.
Yeah, but it's just like and this honestly like is indicative of the way you have to like get into the drive-through and how like everyone ends up like you get stuck in the parking lot, you're hanging out into the street, people are making goofy turns to get in there. So people are losing their minds, making goofy navigation when they haven't had their coffee yet. But this is just like
on either side of the street because there's Breadco across the street too.
And this is one of those things where the more you kind of get into this idea of building for the human scale, encountering stroads, encountering drive-through businesses with parking lot setbacks, like there's a whole other tangent we can't go into now about like just like land use and tax use for those things. But drive-throughs are so freaking dangerous because people are flying through, people are not thinking about pedestrians. They're hungry. They're hangry. They're driving angry.
Strongtown said something recently along the lines of like a drive-through and drive-through culture, like the idea that you're in a place where you don't want to get out of your car is evidence of a place that no one wants to be.
Yeah.
And this intersection is a classic example of that.
Which proves that American's third place is a car.
Yep. There are three drive-throughs on this one corner, Lion's Choice, Starbucks, and Breadco, but at least there's Chippewa, Accident, and Family Care right next door.
Right there.
So if you get slammed into by a car in 3 different ways, Chippewa, Accident, and Family Care.
And then go over to
close.
Yeah, go over to Aya Sophia after that because that's like the one good restaurant.
It really is, yeah.
Well, LeGrand's is on Donovan over there too.
Yeah, but that's not at the intersection.
Also,
it's down the ways. Also, we just had LeGrand.
Also, Arby's.
They do have the meats.
Weird that an Arby's and a Lion. An Arby's and a Lion's Choice. Arby's and a Lion's Choice are right next to each other, and so are a Starbucks and a Breadco. It's such a bizarre intersection.
Well, it's
probably
purposeful.
because you can't cross the street.
You know who owns a portion of Arby's and that like massive corporation that is like Arby's?
Jeff Bezos.
The DeWitts.
No way.
Yeah, the DeWitts have their hands in everything.
Anyway,
except winning culture.
Hey.
Number 3. The largest just 2-street intersection on this list, and it's great. Tucker and Cass, baby, 4 conflict points.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a huge one.
Yeah, we don't get many more than 3 conflict points. When 4 comes into play, you've made a mistake.
The thing about Tucker and Cass that's particularly egregious, it almost didn't make this list because part of it is the highway on-ramp and off-ramp. But
true.
If you zoom down and look at this, there are obvious attempts to make it pedestrianized because there's sidewalks that dead end into like a crosswalk that goes into a traffic island and another crosswalk that goes to another traffic island that you can cross over again back onto grass or onto a sidewalk.
Yeah.
And there's your 4. If you need to cross corner to corner, you go sidewalk to traffic island to traffic island to traffic island to sidewalk.
Yeah.
And you have to it's the highway off ramp and Cass Avenue, which is also very large.
And just like looking at this like geometrically pleasing shape that all those traffic islands, like all 4 corners of this have those right turn lanes that, especially if you're going towards the on ramp, but even in general, just like that people are not yielding. That people are flying by those nice, smooth, wide curves.
Well, because there's slip lanes. There's 4 slip lanes.
Exactly. And so it's the kind of thing that's like, okay, sure, there's crosswalk lines there, but you still like, okay, it's not actually designed for pedestrians. There's just lines on the ground.
Right. Solution, take away the slip lanes. It's pretty easy. The other thing, or maybe just the slip lanes even on the south end, like the downtown end of it.
Yeah.
Because that's where people would be walking anyway. There's nothing on this corner.
Any corner.
But like it's that, north side problems it's sad, the thing.
Yeah, all
But
four corners are undeveloped.
The design of this intersection is preventing all four corners of this intersection
Bingo.
to be developed.
Yep.
Bingo.
There's all this talk about the new stuff that's going in on Kings Highway in Oakland, like all those new and like there's everybody's in a kerfuffle about like, oh well, it's gonna like disrupt traffic patterns and it's gonna be crazy to pull in there, and it is.
That's the point.
Like but I mean, I think it would be dangerous to face those toward Kings Highway. That is a
sure.
That is a 1.5 street intersection. This is a whole ass thing.
Yeah.
And you think development's hard to get on that one stretch of Kings Highway where there's no real intersection? This one, baby.
Yeah.
It's never going to be developed as long as there's stuff there, and that's sad.
I mean, but zoom out really far, and you see there's
Yeah, you got a youth and family center, you got a barbecue place.
There's 8 massive blocks of land surrounding it that are completely vacant. Not just like partially, completely vacant. And the main reason that they're completely vacant is because of that development.
Yeah, I mean,
Right?
it's preventing
because
it. Yeah.
It's because of the Stan Musial Bridge.
This is like one of those spots that used to be like a second downtown to St. Louis, like North Broadway, et cetera, and this is a classic example of like
Highways tearing shit up.
Yep, a neighborhood that was completely displaced by the highway. You can just go, and it's the 70-44 like conglomeration intersection there. There are so many undeveloped blocks right around here. And you want to talk about how big intersections are? Try highway interchanges. They're the size
crazy.
of neighborhoods.
Well, my friend and I were just talking about this. We were just messaging each other and talking about how the least developed and the areas that have the least amount of possibility of coming back per se, right? Like getting any type of tax development, anything that's going to bring taxes to the city, are the interchanges of highways. And people wonder why downtown St. Louis is as undeveloped as it is. Honestly, as it is.
Both sides of it, yeah, where the highways are.
How many highways are at the interchange like out in like the intersection? You said you have of like Mobap and Mercy, right? You have two big highways there, massive. But it's 2 major highways. You have 4 major highways connecting at the start of downtown St. Louis. 4 major highways.
I've said it before. The
4. Why do you think it's like? Come on.
I don't live downtown, but I live close. I live in McKinley Heights, and it's 2 neighborhoods away from downtown. But the 55-44 interchange is the size of a whole nother neighborhood.
It is the greatest nightmare. That it is burdening St. Louis more than any other car-centric infrastructure.
Yeah. Well, yes. We'll talk about highway interchanges in another
episode.
In another episode, I'm sure, because that's the kind of people we are.
Oh man, I'm gonna go
hot and heavy.
Join in for
bury the next episode.
Yeah, for overarching special edition of why Robert
bury
Moses
this
is
highway.
burning in hell.
Yep. Number 2. Vandeventer, Manchester, and Shoto. You know it. You love it. It's the mouth of the Grove, one of the most walkable neighborhoods in St. Louis. And then here's this thing. A whopping 300 ding feet.
Whoa.
And this
Just
is
remarkable stuff.
3 conflict points. Put up a picture of the St. Francis de Sales Church. It's right behind Greenfinch. It was ranked the most beautiful church in America a couple years ago. It's real big. You can see it from miles away in every direction. If you were to take that church and lay it down in the middle of that intersection, it would go corner to corner.
It would fit.
It would fit.
It would fit.
It's buck wild.
Think about that for a second.
It's 300 feet, corner to corner, Vandy, Manchester, and Shoto. The thing about this intersection that gets me is the fact that it is adjacent to so many other walkable things. It puts people on this intersection so often. You could argue that some of these other intersections, such as Tucker and Cass, are like who's walking. You know, like it's almost a highway interchange. It's not like, while it's not pedestrian friendly, it's also not pedestrian like used by pedestrians a ton. This one is. This one you're walking. You got the Foundry, you got the Armory, you got the rest of the Grove. If you want to park one place and walk to another, which is totally feasible because it's like, a 10-minute walk max, you gotta traverse that intersection, and it's a big boy, 300 feet corner to corner.
To keep it in baseball perspective, the right field corner of Fenway Park is 302 feet.
Dang.
So only 2 more feet, and you could hit a Major League Baseball home run.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
That's just
Into the parking lot of that QT.
yeah. Which David Ortiz took advantage of many times, and he wasn't that great.
Solution to this intersection. This is one of those ones that you have to cut something. I feel like.
Yeah.
And I think it's. I mean, technically, this is actually sort of just 2 streets.
Yeah.
Like it's Shota becomes Manchester.
Right.
So I guess that's kind of cheating what
It's
I
not,
said.
yeah, it's not a real 3-way.
This is the biggest intersection. The thing about this intersection though is right north of it is that on-ramp to 64 to 40. Like and
Sure, yeah.
I think that enables the need for this intersection to be so big. I don't know, man. Friggin' get rid of that highway on-ramp. We did it downtown. We got rid of it for the soccer stadium. Remember back in the day when you used to be able to get on 40 from the middle of downtown?
Complaining about it.
No one's complaining.
Yeah.
Do it here. Do it. I dare you.
I bet no one will complain after it's done.
Yeah, I bet you no one will get killed by a car.
Yeah, people have been killed at that intersection before.
By a car.
Yeah. Also, that QT at that like when you try to go fill up your tires, if like the cap or like the pin, the needle, whatever it is to pump up your air is like always gone. Like it's always stolen. Like always. It's never working.
There's a lot of QTs that has that.
But it's that one in particular.
That
never working.
That one, it has a really problematic like entry ramp.
Yeah, that whole
And
that
honestly,
whole area
like,
is
that's
just
the thing
a
is, like,
nightmare.
That intersection is bad for cars too.
Yeah. Most of these intersections are bad for
Yeah,
cars,
And you know
honestly.
what? They were like, you know what we should do? We should put a gigantic drive-through for a Raising Cane's right here. Perfect scenario.
But Cane's, you get off Papin, Papin, whatever you call it.
Yeah.
Like it's not, but
there's,
still.
There's so many
Still,
problems with it. Fix it. Help.
Help!
Or sorry, it's north. It's Gratiot, but not but the Canes. But yeah.
Also, maybe poll here. Do you pronounce it Gratiot or Gratio?
Gratio.
That's a thing.
Gratiot?
Gratiot.
You said Gratiot.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's what they say in Detroit.
Do people say Gratiot?
In Detroit, yeah. I think everybody I know says Gratiot.
Everyone I know says Gratio.
The Golden Gratio.
I promise.
Is that what Rowan
And
has?
Is this the only street St. Louisans don't agree on?
In downtown Detroit, one of the big streets is spelled that same way, but they call it Gratiot, and it's very funny. Gratiot, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, I
here.
feel like
it's not a major
You mean the
street.
city that's bouncing back from their doom loop?
Well,
Don't be jealous, David.
just trying to be like
cool
the
city.
big D.
I love Detroit. This is not.
David's got so many issues that he needs to talk about.
So we've hit 5 through 2.
Number 1.
Wait,
But wait.
we've lied to you. Earlier we talked about how streets going diagonally is like a major contributor to these wide, large intersections.
And you might have noticed that we left one off.
You might have noticed that we've not talked about any intersections that intersect with Gravois.
The
not what that's for,
greatest,
I'm sorry.
the greatest street in all of St. Louis City. The
So what we're
greatest
gonna
street.
do, we're gonna take a quick detour.
to Gravois.
Yes,
That worked
and
out well.
We're gonna hit. We've got.
It worked out well.
Worked out well.
We have 2 intersections that fall below the 5 on this list, but a couple more that fall into the mix. And of course, our big number 1 is also a part of this grand old Route 66 hootenanny.
The original
dilly-do.
Strode.
Yeah.
Route 66, baby. The original Strode. Write a song about that, Johnny Cash. Who wrote that song?
John Mayer.
On Route 66.
John Mayer wrote that
Oh,
song.
I did as like Elvis. Anyway, number. Is this top 5 in itself? 1, 2, 3, 4,
Yeah,
5.
we'll just start with Gravois.
Top 5 lightning round.
Gravois and Jefferson,
that's
which
the-
is very important to us.
Yeah, it's the one you just saw in that clip. Jefferson and Gravois, 235 feet in its own right. 2 conflict points if you want to
Which I
cross it corner
can
to
throw
corner.
across, Dad.
The next one up, Gravois and Chippewa, 239 with 2 conflict points. What's on that intersection?
There you got Quick Trip. You got BK's kind of around the thing. There's like a car dealer thing.
Oh yeah, the storage is kind of near there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big guy. Number 3 on this mini list, Gravois and Russell, an intersection that I interact with a lot, a whopping 257 feet.
Boy, oh boy.
And
Yeah,
it counts because it's even
It's
though
over the
a
highway, but
highway
it's an
goes
elevated-
underneath it, it's an elevated land.
This one's one of the most traveled by foot intersections in the entire city once a year at Mardi Gras.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you want to see the most amount of people at an intersection, go at the beginning of February.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know
It's
what
crazy.
they don't shut down? Gravois.
Oh, I wonder why.
Yeah.
Cars are more
It's-
important.
Right. Yep. It's buck wild. Number 2 on this mini list, Gravois and Compton, a whopping 280 feet. A high school was on that intersection. Those guys, I hear, don't drive a lot of cars. There's 3 conflict points. There's Alicia's Pizzas there. There's a couple other things. Is a big boys right by Roosevelt High School there, getting into Tower Grove. And
Do you pronounce it Roosevelt or Roosevelt?
Roosevelt. Okay. Roosevelt. Who pronounces it? Who says
Older
Franklin
generation.
Delano Roosevelt?
Older people say Roosevelt.
They're wrong.
Yeah.
They say Kanga and Roosevelt.
Old people say a lot of things that are
Number
wrong.
1 Gravois intersection.
Gravois and Shenandoah, an intersection that I am all too familiar with. Gravois and Shenandoah, 324 feet, 3 conflict points. If you were to walk across this intersection, corner to corner twice, you have scaled the arch.
Yeah, it's pretty big.
A little more, actually.
Yeah, a little more.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's fun.
That's our Gravois lightning round. Number 1 on this list, the biggest intersection that we could find in the city of St. Louis. Challenge you to find other ones. Leave them in the comment section if you find bigger ones. What is it?
It's Morgan Ford.
Gravois,
And Delore.
374 feet. 374 feet. That is the same, almost the same height as 101 on the Park. If you laid it over the Chinese takeout box building.
If you laid it in the intersection, it would fit within the sidewalks of that entire intersection. That blows my freaking mind.
Also has 4 conflict points. This is also stuff with a lot of this. The reason this tops this list, other than its sheer size, is the Bevo Mill is a destination. Tim's Chrome Bar is right there. It's a destination.
The Miniature Museum of Greater St. Louis is right there.
Yes.
The most important destination.
It is such a pedestrian corridor.
Yeah. St.
Like,
Louis,
how has it not been redesigned?
St. Louis Shakespeare just did their Shakespeare in the Streets there like a couple years ago.
Yeah.
It is like, I did a
spent-
show recently near there, and it was, it's huge.
I spent so many nights at the Heavy Anchor and Silver Ballroom, like,
Peppers, baby.
and Peppers. I spent so many nights at that intersection, and I was always worried crossing that street.
It's such a, like, by usage, such a great intersection.
So great.
So many cool things. It's a shame that it is so big. What's the solution for it? Our solution for Jefferson and Gravois is to bury Gravois. We've talked about that before. That works for that intersection because there's not a ton of uses that face Gravois in the way that it would need to be buried. There's like a tax store. Lee's would still have a thing. Anyway, there's a lot. We could get into that another time. This intersection, it wouldn't work for because there's a ton of businesses right on Gravois.
There is a very obvious solution for this intersection.
What is it?
A weirdly obvious solution.
It's also because Gravois cuts at such a weird angle through this, where at Gravois and at Gravois and Jefferson, it's more at a 45. But
this has to be it has to be a roundabout.
it can't be.
It can't. There's not enough space for it.
There's 374 feet, so maybe there is. But
Look at the intersection and see
where
and
Delore
see-
is right across the mill.
Look at the intersection and see what's at the southeast corner or the east corner.
A big old empty lot.
A big old empty lot.
oh yeah, that's right.
It behooves you. It's asking to be made into a roundabout.
Although I think
But then the problem is, what do you put at the middle of a roundabout? You put greenery? You put a statue?
Sure.
Nobody wants to
What
build
if-
statues anymore.
Well, and with that
Is that
big
you can't build statues.
it was just a comment.
with
on
that big old empty
society.
lot, what if you
I know who I am.
What if you diverted Gravois?
What do you- whoa, whoa.
What if at Delore, Gravois banks left and parallels Morgan Ford, and then takes a right at kind of like right before the
middle school.
Sublege.
Yeah, this one's
It's
tough.
just it's so hard.
We're also
And-
not traffic engineers.
No. Oh, okay. Maybe, okay, here we go. Hey, traffic engineer,
Get in the comments.
get in the comments. We have been studying this as much as humanly possible.
It does look like the Blair Witch.
I know there was a developer that bought that 4900 block of Delore, I believe, or is it actually 4900 block of Gravois? I don't know. It's that 4900 block of that eastern portion where it's all just like parking, surface level parking. I think somebody did buy it and was wanting to make mixed use infrastructure and like 5/1 it.
Like, which would be cool. Like,
Sure.
Would this be better if you
dense-
stubbed Delore?
Perhaps.
Like on both sides, it would be a pain in the butt for people who live in that community. But like, because there's no like you'd have to put a light at Itasca, and then they could cross over. I don't know. Like it's figure it out,
Yeah.
people.
It's so
Why
hard.
else do we pay taxes?
We've already established that lots of people are smarter than us, so
Why are you listening to
Figure-
this show?
figure it out.
we're just
This is your fault.
We're just putting ideas in your head.
This is
baby.
your fault.
Go run for stuff and throw baseballs across the intersection. No, wait, don't do that.
Honestly, we should tell people to do that because maybe the city will
No.
do something about it.
Okay.
Don't do it.
Don't.
Hey, oh no. What we should do is we should get somebody like Jordan Walker.
Oh, like a professional.
Like we should
baseball
get a
player,
professional
yeah.
baseball player. Unfortunately, down in AAA right now. Somebody with just a gun of an arm to see if they can make this throw.
Ooh, that would be an awesome challenge.
Like this throw.
Anybody in the Cardinals organization,
Yeah.
like anybody, especially outfielders or catchers or people who are known for having some guns, even if you're AAA, a professional baseball player.
Mason Wynn has quite the arm on him right now.
Honestly,
Get in our DMs.
Get in our DMs.
We'll buy you a sandwich. We'll bring all the camera gear.
You'll say no. All the
it'll be.
things.
It's gonna be perfect.
We'll reimburse your bus fare.
We get a permit.
We'll do
Yeah.
it. We'll do it at midnight so you don't get caught.
That'd be. I mean, dream big, boys.
We'll blow the VFX budget on blurring out your face.
We'll blow the VFX budget on paying this baseball player to do this. Anyway, this is one of those scale things for me that, in conclusion, this is one of those scale things for me that is just so indicative of why I personally am so passionate about this. Everybody talks about, like the hardest barrier to transit is getting the right of way. Everybody doesn't talk about that. The people who are like politicians talk about that. That actually getting the space for adequate transit in this day and age, after everything's already been developed, is the most difficult thing. And it's true. But we already have it. It's there on so many of these intersections. The streets are so wide. The intersections are so big. We can coexist with the cars. We can do it. And it's like, you can't both be like, oh, the city's losing population, and also be like, we don't have any room for transit. Because like, okay, if the city's really emptying, like, cool. Puts like less cars on the road. Maybe people will be interested in moving in here if we have adequate transit.
I was going to say, there is no better time for you to be putting in transit when people are leaving.
And but what isn't shrinking? South City. So like this.
Nope.
It's that's a non-point anyway. Good
point.
It's really just a logical loop that these people in these freaking comment sections who are like, America drives cars, deal with it.
Yeah.
Get over it. Trains.
Yeah, we got it. We all have cars in our family households.
Yep.
But like, we live in the United States of America. We're not dumb. We understand that. I also have a feeling, and this will probably make people go, oh no, we're going down the drain. I have a feeling in the next decade, the city of St. Louis is going to be on the uptick. in terms of population.
I agree.
And it's not just because of the north-south line, the green line, that I have so much faith in. I think it's because the city's finally doing a good job of understanding that incentives need to be made. Mm-hmm. And I think people are actually having real good conversations in other places in the United States, specifically about St. Louis, and saying, I've heard that it's actually not that bad. And it's because
of Overarching the podcast.
No, but kind of. No, Bradley's kind of right. But it's about vertical videos.
We talked about it on last episode. Like how many cities of this size have this many podcasts and civic like pride things about them?
It's about vertical videos showcasing, and people come from out of town and showcase their time here and go, I guess I shouldn't believe all those lies.
You heard it here. The way to reverse brain drain is vertical videos.
Vertical videos.
Vertical videos.
Vertical. We love vertical. I'm 5'7". I wish.
So vertically
challenged. Vertically challenged video.
Well, I talked about this with Bradley yesterday about notating
but I think
how 5'7" should be considered in the average category.
And you have a beautiful, beautiful arm. This has been Overarching.
Overarching is recorded at Fly North Theatricals here in sunny Grand Center, St. Our producer is Ian Gilbert, editing by Big Picture Media, logo designed by Claire Nipper. Follow us on social media at Overarching St. Louis, and if you're not watching this on YouTube, you should. And if you are, make sure to throw those like and subscribe buttons across an intersection. I'm Colin.
I'm David.
And I'm Bradley.
And this is Overarching.